Ladies and gentlemen, Trump essentially just won his fraud case, at least on appeal, so he might get convicted because it's New York, and he'll never get a fair trial in New York, and they're obviously going after him for political purposes. These are Democratic prosecutors, Democratic Party prosecutors. They're working for the state, but you have a district attorney that is a part of the Democratic Party, very important part of Tammany Hall. And so New York is run by a political machine, Tammany Hall, since the 1800s, the Democratic Party. They're not doing this in 2024 because it's coincidental. It just happened. They just happened to realize that Trump was committing fraud decades and decades after he was doing business, billion-dollar deals in New York. They're doing this to knock him out of 24, to interfere in 2024, and it's not working. He's up in the polls against mashed potato brains, and I'll explain to you in this segment, like I've explained in other segments, why he's going to essentially win this trial on appeal, if not outright, but he'll probably get convicted, like I said, because it's New York, and you have Democrats in Tammany Hall going after their direct political rival. This has nothing to do with the rule of law. If you think this is about the rule of law, you might be very naive. You could possibly be an imbecile. But hit subscribe to this channel right now, ladies and gentlemen. To read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, other publications, go to hagoodman.com. I might have a live stream tonight, possibly tonight, so be on the lookout for the live stream. And to my new Patreons, thank you. To the super thanks on this channel, thank you. Patreon is below, and the super thanks is below next to the like and the share buttons. I'll get to exactly what Trump was saying. Basically, he called everyone biased. He used different terms. And he talked about the fact that he has enough money and he doesn't need to engage in any fraudulent or criminal practices in New York. The problem, however, is that if there's a precedent that holds up without any bank being a victim of an alleged crime, then you're going to have other billionaires, Mike Bloomberg perhaps, other billionaires in New York with real estate, other real estate moguls who do the exact same thing in terms of acquiring loans as Trump. It is impossible to have committed fraud without a lending institution backing the state of New York. Deutsche Bank, for example, and hit subscribe to this channel because I'm explaining to you exactly why it is impossible for this verdict, let's say they convict him because it's New York, to not be overturned, because you have other real estate moguls, other billionaires in New York who do the exact same thing as Trump, which, by the way, is legal. You might not like, if you don't like what Trump is doing, or you don't like very wealthy people not paying as much in taxes, or being able to kind of mitigate their tax liability with, very Byzantine type of real estate practices, it's all legal, okay? You change the laws in New York. Then you can go ahead and, go after Trump. But if you don't change the laws in New York, he's been working there for decades, and he's been loaned billions of dollars, $2 billion just by Deutsche Bank. So this is a CNBC article. Deutsche Bank loaned more than $2 billion to Trump over 2 decades. This article alone refutes the entire fraud case. You'd have to know just a little something about business. You don't have to be a millionaire or billionaire. You don't have to be a real estate magnate, or you don't have to be this very successful person in business to understand. If you purchased a house, you know that if there's anything wrong with your financial statement or financial history, the bank's going to find out. Similarly, if there was any type of major issue with Trump, there's no way he would have gotten a cent from Deutsche Bank, much less $2 billion. You're going to have, the wonderful, morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrats, many of whom are on YouTube with channels of 1 million to 2 million or more, and they're going to go obsess over this because it goes Washington Post, CNN, and then the you-know-what flows down to the morally superior, left-leaning liberal, quote unquote, progressive pundits. And they're going to obsess. They're going to say, oh my God, Trump's on the ropes. Oh my God, they're going to get him for fraud. The problem is it's purely politically motivated, and any precedent. So if the state of New York or the city of New York, if New York City goes after Trump in a civil trial, okay, so this is a civil trial. If these prosecutors go after Trump, district attorney and prosecutors, and they convict Trump and it's not overturned, the precedent will be very bad for all these billionaires in New York that own a whole lot of land just like Trump. Because what Trump has done is very similar to everybody else in New York. So in terms of a precedent, I don't think that any appeals court within the state of New York would allow the precedent to take hold and then allow district attorneys to go after billionaires for the same type of accounting practices that Trump has engaged in, which, by the way, were legal up until 2024. Gee, I wonder why. So, and number one. Number two, if he did engage in a crime, why isn't there a lending institution, a bank, backing the district attorney? So he just recently also, in 2021, $1.2 billion loan against Bank of America Center skyscraper he owns in San Francisco, the real estate giant Vornado, and the refinancing gives them $617 million payout. So he's still doing business, 2021, but he's still doing business in real estate. He's not. It's not like any bank that doesn't want to do business with Trump is worried about the media uproar. Media, the Democratic Party, don't want Trump to be successful. They don't want Trump to be able to pay for his legal fees. That's the only way to stop him, and that's not working. But here, you can look. New York Appeals Court pauses breakup of Trump business during civil trial. The reason they paused the breakup is that he didn't really commit a crime. Trump has never committed a crime, actually, any crime that he's been accused of by Democrats. They'll convict him because it's political. It's purely political. And imagine if, for example, city prosecutors, or district attorneys in Arkansas went after the Clintons. Okay, a red state, Republicans, all you would hear from the Clinton camp or from Democrats is, oh, it's purely political. These are Republican prosecutors. They're doing the bidding of Trump, and they're Trump's henchmen. But when Democratic city, when blue states and blue cities and Democrats in Tammany Hall go after Trump, it's the rule of law. Oh, it's the pristine, pure as the driven snow rule of law. Anyway, the appeals court already broke. And by the way, the Supreme Court throws out conviction. Supreme Court, if it gets to the Supreme Court, they'll throw out any conviction that Trump faces. So he'll probably face convictions in D.C. and New York, because you're talking about Biden's and Democrats going after him with a special counsel for political purposes. Okay? To be fair, Ken Starr was political against, it was a political special counsel against Clinton. The difference, though, is that Whitewater was actually a very shady, corrupt business deal that went under. People make money with Trump. That's the difference. So when you have, like, the Clintons trying to make money in Whitewater a long time ago, that didn't work out. Trump makes money. That's why The Apprentice went on for so long and he got a couple $100 million. That's why he got $2 billion in loans. He makes money for Deutsche Bank. That's why he's on the Forbes, wealthiest list for, years and years and years. The man makes money. The Supreme Court will throw out any conviction they think, even you see one with, corruption convictions within the state of New York. Okay, and so he'll have the Supreme Court throw out any conviction because it's purely political and everything's nonsense. But here, Mike Bloomberg owns a New York condo in a Trump property. If Trump's committing this fraud, the question is, if everyone else in New York, all these Democratic donors, billionaires who do the same things as Trump, the precedent is not going to be good for the city or the state. Give me your thoughts below, which is almost certainly to be overturned. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel, which, by the way, is not committing any fraud. The whole thing is complete nonsense, and I explain in this segment. Give me your thoughts. Thanks so much.